and welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie and welcome to my month in review for December of 2023. I actually really love doing these month in review videos because it's a chance for me to pull out the different projects that I've worked on throughout the month and share my thoughts, especially on the ones that I've completed, and talk about, some plans for the month ahead. I actually debated whether or not to do a December month in review video because I just did my 2023 year in review video and have been posting a number of individual review videos for the kits you're going to be seeing today or am planning to in the near future. And so I just thought, do we really need to do a month in review video as well? But when I asked for your thoughts in my weekly WIP and chat this week, your response was overwhelming that you still wanted this month in review. So I thought, well, I was afraid of it being redundant, but since you guys don't seem to think so, I am more than happy to put this together. And you know what? It lets me keep the consistency because I do have a month in review playlist, if you're curious, where I think did I start it in 2021? I think I did. So now there should be 2 to 3 full years. Yeah, there should be 3 full years of month in reviews on there. And that's it's a nice way to get more of a short form kind of snapshot look at the different kits I've worked on in the past 3 years, especially we don't want to necessarily sit down and watch individual review videos. And I also don't quite have time to do individual review videos for every single kit that I complete. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and dive into this a little bit more. So while in the month of November, if you watched that month in review, you would have heard me kind of feeling a little bad about the fact that I just had one finish in the month of November. I did surely make up for it in December. I actually had a total of 6 finishes for December, and that has to have an asterisk on it, you guys, because three of those were kits that I brought into the month of December from the month of November and were at least halfway complete. So, it wasn't they were new starts and finishes in the month of December, but there we have it. So I had 6 finishes, and it's kind of a WIP that I have going into January or the new year. My goal really is to try to, when I get to the end of a year, to finish and be able to start a new kit and have no kind of like loose threads going into the upcoming year, like a clean start, and it just works for my brain numbers wise. But my long-term HAID conversion, I did go ahead and start on the 4th panel for that in the last few days of the year. And so that's technically a WIP, but that's a multi-year project. I don't know how much that really counts against my count. But then, you know what, I completely forgot to take a look at how many videos I put up in December, but it was a full month. There was probably somewhere between 20 and 25 videos because I do tend to average 4 to 5 videos a week. I did participate in the Christmas premieres again this year, which was really fun. All those replays are still up if you're curious to go take a look at those. I'll do my best to remember to link to that playlist below. But yeah, December was just a lot about sort of tying up loose ends and doing a lot of reflecting on the year and thinking about, what have I learned and what do I want to change and take with me into 2024. And so this is just, it was a good month. At the end of the month in particular, the last couple of weeks, I actually just decided to work on some really small, relaxing kits, as opposed to in past years when I have tried to cram in as much diamond painting as possible before the end of the year and just bitten off more than I can chew in a lot of instances. This year I thought I want to approach this differently. I really don't want diamond painting and content creating to somehow be an added stress to this very busy season of life, and I think I did a good job with doing that and handling that a little bit better this year. Anyway, let me show you the kits that I've completed. The first completion of the month that I have here is Becoming. It's from Diamond Art Studio UK, and I did do a dedicated post review for this particular kit already, but and I will, any kits that I've already done post reviews for, they'll be linked in the description below because I go into a lot more detail in those videos even. But I do have my paper logbook here, and I like to just track my thoughts and notes and everything on kits as I work on them, and I try to put a picture, even if it's just the stock image that the company sent, and I track things obviously like the name, the title, the shop, size, number of colors, drill shape, the start and end date. I also track what number of start, what number of finish, and what number of finish it was in the year, and as well as any events that I worked on. And I always just participate in events for the community aspect. I'm not entering for prizes. It's just like, oh yay, like I'm working on similar kits alongside others. So I do have my logbook here. You guys, I'm so close to the end. We're totally gonna finish this. I'm gonna guess a few months into 2024, but you know, we'll get there. Anyway, this kit, I feel like, you know, it's funny. I feel like I've talked about this one a lot. I feel a little bit like a broken record over it, but I am still going to try to, in case you haven't necessarily seen those other videos, I'm going to try to really give you a nice snapshot of this one. Like I said, this one is called Becoming, and it's from Diamond Art Studio UK and by the artist Andrea Tramatolo. It's 60 by 80 centimeters. This was a kit that felt bigger than that to me, though. It just felt, I guess it felt bigger in scope and the process of working on it. And so I was like, really, it was only 60 by 80? But it's absolutely stunning. It's really gorgeous. And it has 113 colors. I feel like the number of colors really does do this artwork justice. I think it's really, it suits it. You know, that number of colors isn't going to suit every artwork or frankly every shop's rendering style, but Diamond Art Studio UK did a really nice job with this one. When I've talked about this kit in past videos, the descriptor that keeps coming back to me is just striking. I feel like the artwork itself is really bold, and I think it's a really fascinating artwork that I feel like every time I look at it, I just kind of think, it just makes me want to think on it even more. I think it's absolutely stunning and just beautifully, beautifully done. Just the subject is, she's just a showstopper. And the way that they have rendered the jellyfish, these little ocean creatures, all the color blending that's going on, like all these purples and everything over here. There's a lot going on in this piece. And I think it's a beauty. It's a real beauty. One of my favorite parts is definitely over here. It's the coral that's kind of like from her hair and then goes into coral. And the shop actually commented on my post review for this video that they felt like it really reminded them of lightning. And I was like, oh my gosh, it really, really does. Especially because there are actually quite a lot of ABs in this part of the kit. So there's a couple of different shades of blue AB. And it just really makes that part of this artwork, it just elevates it. So this was a longer term project for me. It just sort of, relatively speaking, let's see, I started this one on November 5th and I finished it on December 5th. So 1 month, I did have 2 or 3 or 4 other projects going on alongside it. And so, which honestly was kind of what I needed in a way, because I would work on a couple of sections of this one and the amount of confetti would give me a little bit of fatigue. And so I would shift from this one to another project to take a breather and then feel refreshed to come back this one, which is certainly something that I recommend if you're tackling a big project and feeling either overwhelmed or frustrated, or like you don't want to work on a project. It's like, oh, well, let's get something else going too that you can kind of go back and forth between. So this is the really breathtaking Becoming, and was my first finish for December. Let me move this out of the way. This that I have here is Dragon Spirit by Margaret Morales from Diamond Art Club. I did do a post review for this kit already that's gone up, and if you watch that, you know that I am really incredibly in love with this piece and very impressed with how it turned out. I was just delighted to see Margaret Morales have 3 kits debut at Diamond Art Club on Cyber Monday, and I was sent this one to share as a sneak peek. And because I really do adore this artist's work, I have completed a few different kits by her from when she was licensed at DIY Moonshop, which has since it's closed. It's under new ownership that changed the name, changed the manufacturer, like changed, I think, really everything about it, and didn't, I think, retain almost any of the artists. So I'm not sure how to like refer to them. Like DIY Moonshop technically closed, but like kind of didn't. They were bought. So But all this to say, I did enjoy working on Margaret Morales' kits from the original iteration of DIY Moon Shop, with the exception of the most recent kit that I had worked on from them in spring of 2023, which was a really disappointing experience, unfortunately. And so when I saw that Margaret Morales had signed with Diamond Art Club, we saw her images in voting, and I thought, oh, once her kits release, I really want to see how they're going to look with Diamond Art Club style. There had been various different like circles and people that had talked about how they just weren't sure if Diamond Art Club could do softer watercolor styles, and I was cautiously optimistic because they have done some pieces in watercolor styles like Amy Brown and even like Molly Harrison and some other artists that I'm blanking on names of. So I was like, I know they can do it, but Margaret Morales has got to be like one of the most popular ones and the ones that people are going to be most anxious to see, especially given the history of how the renderings were turning out at the end of the last shop that they were at. So I just, from the moment I enrolled this one, was really excited because one of the first things that caught my eye was even just the printing on the canvas of her skin tone. I was like, that's it. That's it. Okay. I really think this is going to be good. And I am so happy. So incredibly happy with it. I think it looks amazing. There's a lot of softness in other areas of this kit as well, like in the dragon scales and a lot in the background where you can see that they really did come to this with a light touch and with a lot of intention in mind to do this artwork justice. And of course, your mileage may vary as far as what you like with rendering styles. I like a wide variety of rendering styles in different contexts, and I appreciate a lot of different rendering styles. It's perfectly okay if you look at this and go, it's missing the mark for me. So this is purely my own opinion. I am really happy with it, and I think that they did a beautiful job with Margaret Morales' artwork. One of my favorite parts about it, I can't talk about this kit without mentioning it. This is amazing. The special drills that they included in these marks on her skin and in the dragon's eye especially. So amazing. There are 3 or 4 different colors of iridescent or crystal style diamonds in these marks. There's also a gold electro or metallic diamond in here, and there is a light yellow fairy dust. And the dragon's eye has a couple of the iridescents and I think a white fairy dust in it. And then in addition to that, there's lots of white ABs in the dragon scales. Look at that sparkle. Lots and lots of white ABs in the dragon scales, and even in the background a bit. I love the special drills in this kit. I think it's amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm so excited. It makes me so optimistic and so very much looking forward to the future pieces the Diamond Art Club releases from Margaret Morales. But I didn't have any complaints about this one, you guys. This one, by the way, I didn't mention, is 55.8 by 81 centimeters, has round diamonds. I think that the round diamonds really actually suited this really nicely. And 64 colors, and I mentioned the special drills that it has. So this was finish number 2 for December. Let me grab finish number 3, which is a pretty epic one. Here I have Loki, the God of Mischief. Love this one, you guys. Okay, so this is a cross-stitch conversion project. The artwork is by Mandy Manzano and is legally licensed for cross-stitch patterns to Creatively Stitching on Etsy. And there's a lot of Mandy Manzano's artwork there that's been licensed. A lot of these panel pieces that either are discontinued or in this case were never released by Diamond Art Club. And being that this is just one of generally my favorite fandom characters, I was really thrilled to see them license this particular artwork. And I thought, let's totally do this. So this size on this one, this is 36 by 108 centimeters and has about 99 colors, and has square drills, which most cross-stitch conversions are going to have. Otherwise, you're going to see that bit of white that's around drill because the canvas itself is blank. Cross-stitch conversions, you're doing them on a blank canvas. You're reading a cross-stitch chart, counting and placing the diamonds on the blank canvas. It's not like there's symbols pre-printed on there. It has to do with licensing. This could not be printed with symbols down because that's considered, I think, a reproduction of the artwork. I don't know the ins and outs of licensing. I just understand that it has to do with the use that the artwork is licensed for, which in this case is just Mandy Manzano's got her artwork at Diamond Art Club for diamond paintings and at Creatively Stitching for cross stitch charts. So there's lots of possibilities that get opened up to you when you look at cross stitch charts and turning them into diamond paintings, because cross stitch has been around for so much longer. And there are some amazing artists that you can access. Now, of course, you can't work on any and every cross stitch chart that's out there, because there are things like specialty stitches or back stitching that just don't translate. That's not like a possibility unless you did something really interesting and artistic and crafty with pulling in other kinds of materials in diamond painting form. But in this case, you're safe. But I purchased the drills and the canvas from Jaded Gem Shop. And Jaded Gem Shop has a lot of listings and kind of specifically for these different panels that Creatively Stitching has, including some mini panels that they just came out with. And so it made the process extremely easy. I basically just went to Jaded Gem Shop and said, hey, I need the materials for the Loki panel from Creatively Stitching. And it was very, very easy. Sometimes when you're ordering cross-stitch conversions, where you have like the cross-stitch chart from somewhere else and you're trying to get materials from a shop, it's a lot more complicated. They want you to do the work and tell them, okay, how many of each diamond do you need and each color, and we need this and we need this. And this just was very simple, which I love it. And with this kit, I also paid for the kitting up service, which I did film an in-depth post review on this kit that will go up soon. And because I don't have those containers to show you, I already kitted those down, but I did film and include those in the post review. So stay tuned if you'd like to see that. But the kit up service was basically where I paid for this service where Jaded Gem Shop had a couple of different storage options available, and I chose which one I wanted, and she kitted up and mailed the drills to me already kitted up. So they were ready to go, and they arrived. And it's, obviously you pay extra for that, but it was a nice thing to try out. I wanted to see how I liked it and try out a different storage system too. But anyway, the process of working on this one was very, very different from the process of working on my longer term Heaven and Earth to Science conversion. This one I started on October 18th and finished on December 14th. I a little bit spread it out on purpose. A little bit it was just a necessity because I had other projects going. I started this when right around when Loki season 2 was airing, and I was just in the mood to work on this kit, and it was a lot of fun. I felt like it was much more efficient and generally went faster than my other conversion project, and I'm taking a lot of learnings from this into my other conversion projects, and it was fun to work on something different, and I'm glad that I did, because originally I had told myself that I wasn't going to let myself work on this one until I'd finished my bigger conversion project, and I thought, oh heck, forget it, I'm going to work on it because I want to. I'm not going to make myself wait arbitrarily. But I did feel like this chart was kind of like a pure computer rendering. It didn't look like it had much of any hand touch-ups by Creatively Stitching, which that is fine. That is what it is. Kits are also artwork is going to look different when it's in cross-stitch form versus diamond painting form as well. And I guess you do have to keep that in mind. As far as the materials go, the canvas and the drills were good to work with. The 310 had some trash. I did struggle a bit with the 310. But I think I would have had enough to complete the kit, but I did end up pulling some from my stash that I didn't have to pick around so much trash. And that was just for my own sanity. But overall, I really liked working on this one. I would absolutely buy another. I do another cross-stitch conversion from Creatively Stitching these panels. I feel like it's probably like an intermediate level cross-stitch conversion project. Like I wouldn't necessarily start with something this big if you haven't tried a conversion project yet. But, once you've tried it and if you like it, I think these panels are pretty accessible and pretty fun to work on. So anyway, I'll talk to you more in depth in the post review that I did on this particular kit. But for now, this is Loki. This was finish number 3. So my next project does need a spoiler warning, a spoiler alert, just in case. So what I have to show you is the Diamond Art Studio UK Advent/Christmas holiday kit that they put out for December 2023. And it was technically a mystery kit where it was actually also a cross-stitch conversion project. And each day you would pull out one of these little mini charts that they created in-house, and complete that square on the canvas. And so I did complete it. I am going to show it to you in its entirety here today. And so if you don't want to have it spoiled for you, I totally understand. I will put up a timestamp marker here on the video if you want to skip ahead to my next finish instead. So, or you could just, click away from the screen and hear me talk about it a bit. So, without seeing it. So anyway, here we go. And there we have it. So this was sent to me by Diamond Art Studio UK to share ahead, to kind of do like a sneak peek for ahead of the official release. So a huge thank you to them for sending this to me. And they also, we talked and I ended up doing a big demo video for them that went up on December 1st, just to hopefully help people sort of get an understanding for how to approach a project like this. So I did feel like I learned a lot once I got a little further into it. And the size on this in total was 45 by 50 centimeters. I had 37 colors and obviously had square drills. And this was a blank canvas with the exception of there were symbols that denoted the borders for each of these sections, because technically these were all interchangeable. I could have put any one of these squares in any one of these spots and it would have fit, but I decided to go ahead and just do it in order. And they did chart all of these in-house. I thought these little designs were really cute. And the mystery element was fun because sometimes I would, look at the chart and go, oh, I think I know what this is immediately. And sometimes I wouldn't. The symbols were in black and white, so you didn't necessarily know unless you were kind of able to discern patterns in the symbols. There was a kind of a consistent sort of pattern to a lot of this where the background was about the same on all of these. It had this gradient of dark purple, medium purple, light purple, and then this snowflake pattern in the background. I actually saw some people in the Diamond Art Studio UK group that had removed the numbers from each of these squares and filled it in with the pattern of like the dark, the darker purple here, and then the white ABs for the snowflakes in those spots too, because it was a pretty consistent pattern throughout the project. But this was really cute to work on. I actually ended up not getting further than day one until about halfway through December, and then I thought, oh, I think I want to finish this after all, and I finished the rest of it in about a week. I just did multiple a day and finished it a couple of days before Christmas. I do think that I don't know that I would say this was necessarily beginner friendly, because each section, each day probably took me a couple hours, and not everyone is going to have a couple hours to dedicate to diamond paint every single day, especially during the holiday season. And I also feel like that's coming from my perspective as a pretty, I feel like I'm decently good at doing cross-stitch conversions, reading charts, and I can be pretty efficient about it. I was using the Markup RXP app, which I felt like was a heck of a lot more efficient than a paper chart was. And so it's just like, I'm assuming a lot of factors that help it go more speedily, but I don't necessarily know that would be the case for everyone, but I'm not sure. I saw a lot of people completing them every day and posting them in the group, so obviously it was accessible for plenty of people. But this was a really interesting project to work on. I thought it was really neat of Diamond Art Studio UK to try something different. I don't know that something quite like this has been done before. I could be wrong, but I felt like it was kind of a new concept, and I think that the execution was really, really nice, and they've already talked about things they've learned from it and want to do better, and they want to bring more kinds of projects like this to us, and so I'm really excited to see what they have coming. I thought the renderings were really, really cute. The materials were great. This just was a fun project to work on, and this was my fourth finish for December, and I'm going to grab finishes 5 and 6 and show them to you together, and I'll explain why. These two, they go together. This is Snowman Latte and Holiday Deer, and they are from the same company and have many of the same features. So they're both 12 by 12 inches or 15.5 or 15 by 15, 12 by 12 inches or 30.5 by 30.5 centimeters. They both have round diamonds. They're both from the company Leisure Arts. Both images are licensed from Shutterstock and share all the same features as far as, drill quality, glue, the canvas material, all those sorts of things. I am relatively confident that that Leisure Arts, these kits at least, share the same parent company or manufacturer as, you know, Diamond Dots and Make Market and Camelot Dots. Like a lot of these companies that you see in crafting stores under various names, I feel like share the same manufacturer or parent company. The 100% polyester canvas was one giveaway. Some of the like features, even the way they scallop the canvas edges. One of the dead giveaways for me though is the symbols. It's really distinct, and I feel like you just see it with Diamond Dots and related canvases. Is they have a bunch of these red symbols. Like, I'll show you up close. Like these red symbols here. These red. It's really kind of strange when you look at the canvas without drills on it, because you go, oh wait, why are there reds? That's not right. And then it's like, no, it's just the symbols. It's going to be covered up by the diamond. To be honest with you, like that's one of the few things that I wrote down that I was like, I don't really know that I like about these. Is I'm not a fan of the red symbols. I feel like there's something about the 100% polyester canvas that it just like eats the ink, and the red can sometimes like blur or spread a little bit, and between that and the ink color, it's just not really enjoyable to work with. I have to give them props though. They really do try to avoid any symbols that would be really easy to mix up. So there is that much, but these are really stripped down kits, but at the same time, really nice for the price point. They really have all the basics pretty solid. I feel like each of these kits cost me around $10 US after on sale. And that is an incredible price point for what you're getting, honestly. The rendering looks really nice. Like there obviously was some hand charting that went into these. To me, it seems very apparent that there was. The quality is good. The drills are really, really sparkly. They're really sparkly round drills. And you know, I don't have complaints about the materials besides just a personal preference about the red symbols. They're incredibly beginner and budget friendly, and you can't complain about that. They're licensed from Shutterstock, like that, it's above board in that sense. And for me, these kits were really nice to work on at this time of year because, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I just wanted to try to be more intentional about taking a slower paced approach to my diamond painting over the holidays. I think I just need to go with these cute little snack size kits. And originally I just worked on the snowman one and then thought, okay, well, I could probably squeeze in like another like bigger kit, I suppose. But then I thought, you know what, how about I just do the other like cute little snack size that I got? It'll just be very relaxed. And if I finish it before the new year, that's totally fine. I'll work on my conversion project. And that's exactly what I did. And I love that I did that. I felt like it was so good for my mental health. I just felt very relaxed about it, and it helped me enjoy the craft more. So if I had any sort of like little bits of critiques to give these kits, which I hesitate to give critique because they are so inexpensive, like they're going to have to like cut corners in some places to streamline cost, but there's still a couple of things. One, I feel like they could maybe do something about. The other, I don't expect them to do something about for the price point. The one that I would wonder if they could improve is there is gapping with the round drills. There was in both kits. I'm noticing that with some, like a variety of companies lately, and I wonder if it's just in my head or poor multi-placing in my part, but they're just, I mean, it's visible from the camera, and I did do some single placing in here, but there just were awkward bits of gapping in there. There was some in the light drills over here too, especially, it felt like, at least that's where it was noticeable. And something that I don't expect them to change because, again, we're talking about a streamlined price point. But I almost wish I would have done it would have been fun to have like some special drills, like just some little ABs. There were no ABs, no special drills, but I don't expect that for the price point. It's more like, that just would have taken it like a little bit to the next level, but that's an unrealistic expectation on my part. But I highly recommend you guys, don't sleep on, some of these kits, these like budget brand kits that are in crafting stores. The quality is there. It's, the presentation is good. Like it's, you're getting a quality product for sure. So these are my 5th and 6th finishes for the month. And the last ones for the year as well. It was nice. It was great. I love it. 10 out of 10 recommend taking this kind of approach to the end of your year. Now I do have technically, like I said, one WIP going into 2024 / the month of January. Now, that is my cross-stitch conversion project from Heaven and Earth Designs, and I started this panel a few days before the end of the new year, or the end of the year. And I have been working on it the past couple of days. It's currently January 2nd that I'm filming this. And so I think I just had really like a couple of columns like here over, I think, or maybe here over done. So if you want to get really technical about it, but this is the fourth of 8 panels that make up this particular artwork. And it's the right half of the second shelf down. And I have a playlist dedicated to this project where I talk about it in a lot more detail. So I'm gonna, I think, spare you a little bit of that here. But this is something that I started, I think, was it May of 2022? So it's been going for a year and a half, I think. And I had originally had a goal in mind that I would get to the halfway point of this overall project by the end of 2023. And that didn't happen, and that's okay. Like, I'm giving myself grace on that. This is a really time and labor intensive project. It's highly, highly, highly confetti heavy. Like, oh my gosh. These, like, they're like turrets and towers. Just, it feels like a million different colors, and they're pure confetti. It is highly pixelated up close, but keep in mind that there are going to be 8 panels of this size, which are honestly, they're roughly the size of that Loki panel that I showed you. There's going to be 8 of these that, when put together, make up the entire image. So imagine that you're standing back far enough to see all 8 of these. That's going to help this come together in a way that it is not coming through in camera. However, I am thinking already ahead. It's like, if I did, approach this project or do a project like this again, I would be a lot more careful about what artwork I chose. Amy Stewart's artwork, which this is Once Upon a Fairy Tale is the name of this artwork, is incredible, and it's incredibly highly detailed. And I feel like it maybe is not always the best choice for turning into a diamond painting. I've seen the cross-stitch versions of this artwork, and it just translates differently with floss or thread versus diamonds. I don't know exactly what it is, but it does. And so this is like a Pegasus. And literally, I saw someone just today in one of the hate Facebook groups that was doing this as a cross-stitch project and not a diamond painting. And I swear that this made more sense to my eye than like this looks to me now. So I'm just keeping that in mind. I'm not giving up on this project. I just am taking it with that grain of salt. And it is fun when there are elements that do make sense, like these 2 battling knights and like the castle that's coming together in the background, and the moon looks really cool. So, as far as just my thoughts on it, yeah, that's it. I'm like midway through a couple of columns at the moment, and this release paper is from Crafts with Crashly. And so if you want to hear about more of my process of working on this project, I'll point you to my cross-stitch conversion playlist, which will be in the description below, along with lots of other helpful links. But this is my one and only WIP that I'm taking into January and 2024, and I will see how far I get on it this year. But speaking of, what I'm thinking for this year and this month, so January, I don't know that I'm planning to participate in any events necessarily. I really look at the first few months of the year as a chance for me to really spend some time brainstorming content that I want to bring you. My mind is honestly just brimming with ideas, and I have a whole notebook page where I was just like jotting down thoughts and notes, and you guys have actually been giving me some ideas recently. And so I do tend to take a more relaxed approach at the beginning of the year, as far as I don't tend to host events, and I don't always participate in events. If I do, it's really just lightly, because I don't know, it feels like when I am putting my time and mental energy into events, it's like I don't have the margin to be thinking about like doing content outside of kind of my typical usual stuff. I like to branch out of that sometimes and do more tutorials that are more production and time heavy, and thinking about just different kinds of videos besides just your usual unboxings, reviews, whip and chat, small shop hauls. Those are not going anywhere, though. You'll still see plenty of those. But just as far as what my thoughts and goals are for January, I'd like to, maybe keep working on planning and those kinds of things with those videos. As far as kits that I'm working on, I am actually, my first kit of January and first kit of 2024 is going to be my 150th project. It'll be my 150th completed diamond painting since I started diamond painting in April of 2020. And so when I hit some of these milestones, I like to sometimes pick a kit that's gonna have some kind of special meaning, and just be, I don't know, just mark it as a special occasion. And so after really debating, I decided to work on it, and I should have grabbed the canvas, but I don't have it handy. Maybe I'll pop a picture up on the screen, but I decided to work on La Lune by Cherryuki, and actually from DIY Moon Shop. It was one of the very first kits I bought from them in 2020. I really liked the rendering they had at the time, and the whole process of ordering from them was really, it just felt very special and very unique at the time. And I feel like that was one of my very first rainy day kits that I had, and the time just feels right to work on it, honestly. So I'm looking forward to working on that this month. Other than that, I love being in this time of the year where I get to just follow my nose as far as what kind of projects I want to work on. I imagine this will be a time of year where I find myself able to spend a good amount of time on my conversion project. That would be great if I can make some nice progress with these, but it's just nice to have the chance to kind of go through my stash and be like, okay, this is one I feel like working on. It might not be for an event that I'm hosting or participating in, but I just feel like working on this one. Let's do it. And you're going to continue to see me unboxing and working on kits from new to me shops as well. I have already some kind of in waiting for me to film unboxings for and also to work on. So please stay tuned for those as well. But otherwise, I'm excited for a new year and hopefully some fun new things to come. But yeah, as far as you guys though, what did December and the end of 2023 look like for you? Did you have any favorite projects that you worked on, or any goals that you were excited to meet in 2023 or in the month of December? And do you have any exciting plans for January? Any kits that you're stoked about working on? Feel free to share them in the comments below. I actually really, really enjoy reading about those and getting to then hear from you guys in future months as well, as far as like, oh yeah, remember the thing that I mentioned last month? I did, I worked on the thing, or I didn't get to it, but I'm excited to maybe do this new thing this month. So let me know in the comments below. I'm looking forward to reading them. And I think that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope it was fun to go through my December month in review. I appreciate that you took some time to watch this video. Feel free to subscribe if you'd like to stay up to date with my diamond painting content and see what I've got coming this year. I'd love to have you here, and I hope that you have a day and a week and a start to your year that is as amazing as you are, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.